Hey everybody, Travis with Bakcou here, and I'm going to take you through the steps of how to build the Scout, Bakcou's newest trail riding electric mountain bike. When you get your Scout, it's going to come in a box just like this, and the bike itself, the frame and everything, will be covered with some foam and some cardboard pieces inside the box, so no damages happen during shipping. When you take your bike out, you're going to want to clip all of the zip ties to remove all of that. I used a sharp pair of dikes. You can use these to clip the zip ties, and when you're next to the tires, make sure that you don't puncture them or scratch the paint when you're doing the zip ties there. I've already done all of that, and so once you do that, the bike will look like this. So this is your Scout e-bike. Everything that comes in the box is the bike itself, the front tire. This will be zip tied to your bike. You're gonna wanna clip those zip ties and take it off. And then this little toolkit box will be in your big bike box as well. Everything that comes in this is what you need to build your Scout. First, you'll get a little multi-tool that we'll be using today to build it. Owner's manuals. There is a cable in here. This is used if you want to wire a headlight from the battery to your bike. This is not needed to build the bike or to start riding it. And then your pedals will be in this box here. I'll go over how to put these on. And then of course your battery and all of the charging cables that you'll need to charge your battery for your bike. The first step is putting on the handlebars. You will need the hex key multi-tool and the 4mm hex key to remove these 4 bolts from this front-facing plate. Be careful to not lose the washers on the bolts as you remove them. When you remove the plate, you will notice a small plastic piece inside. You can keep it in there or remove it. For this video, we are going to remove it as it is not needed. Place your handlebars in the open slot and line up the small grooves in the middle as you screw the metal plate back on. You can loosen these bolts to get the desired amount of rotation on the handlebars that is comfortable to you. Now we will put the front tire on the bike. First, remove this plastic safety guard that protects your rotor. Do not lay the tire down on the brake rotor. Take off this fork safety guard and remove the quick release axle. To do this, line up the arrows on the clamp and the axle to loosen it. Place the axle to the side and remove this plastic brake guard. Do not squeeze the brakes before you put the tire on, or you will have to pry open the brake pads. I found that the best way to put the tire on is to hold it with your legs and bring the bike to the tire. Thread the rotor in between the brake pads and put the quick release axle back through the fork and tire. Line up the arrows on the axle spin to tighten it, and then clamp it down. Your tire is now in place, and you can roll the bike to listen for the pads rubbing. If nothing is rubbing and everything is secure, you can put the kickstand down. Your next step is the pedals. You will need the hex key multi-tool again. When you take them out of the box, you'll notice an L and R on the pedals showing you which is the left and right pedal. The easiest way to put these pedals on is to put the pedal in the crank arm hole and rotate. This will hand tighten the pedal onto the crank arm. Once that is done, get the multi-tool and the 6mm hex key going from the other side into the pedal and tighten. Make sure these are as tight as you can get them so they don't come loose. Now repeat this step for the other side. When you are done with the pedals, make sure to remove this plastic covering on the motor housing or the motor could overheat while in use. You can also remove the plastic on the crank arms. The final step is the battery, which will come in your main bike box. You'll notice these connection points on the bottom of the battery. These go on the side closest to the motor. If you can't get the battery to go in, grab the key and turn the battery release. Push the battery in, then turn the key again, locking it into place. Now that the battery is in, turn the bike on to make sure all the cables are connected properly.
So now that we have the bike all built and the battery is plugged in and you know that it works because you've turned the display on, now you want to go into the tires, the air pressure in the tires, and then the air pressure in the front fork and the rear shock here. The tires should be at about 20 PSI. That's a good starting point for your tires for your ride. You can change that however fits best and is custom to you. With your fork, you want this to start at about 150 PSI. That's another good starting point. And then your rear shock, we're gonna put it about 190 PSI. Now the way that we're doing that is not with a normal air compressor or a tire pump for your tires. It is with what's called a shock pump. It looks like this. A shock pump has a small gauge on it and has a Schrader valve connector that you would connect to this valve here for your front fork where it says air. And then on the back side of your rear shock, there's another Schrader valve where you connect this. And again, you're gonna fill your front fork to 150 as a good starting point and your rear shock to about 190 to 200. So we've built the bike completely. We've checked the front tires, the front fork, and the rear shock for air pressure with that shock pump. Now, the next thing you want to do is make sure that it sits comfortably for you. So I'm going to sit on the bike, and a good rule of thumb is that you want this leg here, your left leg, to be bent. Oh wait, let's go backwards. So that's down. You want your leg to barely be bent while you're sitting on it. And so for me, I'm gonna have to raise this up by loosening that clamp on the seat tube. Raise it up to about probably right there. Lock that in. And now I'm on the bike, and you see my left leg is bent just barely enough. If the handlebar rotation is too far back or forward, you can release and loosen these bolts right here that we clamped in to put the handlebars on, and then you can rotate them forward or back. They're pretty good for me right here. I like them like this. So now that the bike is completely built and that the seat is comfortable to us and the handlebars, you want to do what we call an M check. An M check follows the pattern of the letter M, and you start down here at the front tire. You make sure this quick release axle is tight and nothing is wobbly or wiggling down there. You come up to the top of the letter M to your handlebars. Make sure that your brakes are good. Those are great. Now you go down to your pedals. Make sure these are on snug. If they're not, you can use that multi-tool that we use to put them on, tighten them up. Go up to your seat, make sure that the seat clamp is tight and not loose in any way. And then we're gonna go back down to our derailleur, cassette, and chain. Make sure that those look good and they're in good working order for our ride. You wanna do an M check before every single ride just to be safe. So that is everything that you need to know for how to build your Scout e-bike, how to check the pressure in the tires, the front fork, the rear shock, what the pressure should be at, and then that M check as well that you should do on every single ride to be safe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more maintenance videos on our bikes and scooters, how-to videos of how to build them, and even product descriptions on all of the products that we have on our website for you to have the most enjoyable time on your ride. Thanks for watching.